Good morning and welcome to year number 5 of Pitt to the Point. I'm Nick Bennick.
And I'm Farah Hindawi. Pitt to the Point is your weekly 1-hour Emmy Award-nominated news and magazine program that airs live from the state-of-the-art Pitt studios.
Pitt to the Point covers everything from the University of Pittsburgh to the City of Pittsburgh, as well as national and international events, news, people, and stories.
We're back with your favorite segments such as Alumni Spotlight and Clubbing at Pitt, which showcases one of our amazing student-run clubs here.
And we'll feature stories from our incredible University of Pittsburgh regional campuses and tell you the top headlines from our neighborly journalist-in-arms, the Pitt News.
And we'll be joined live by our affiliate college and high school partners and their student anchors, who will tell you what's going on in their schools and their communities. Now we're statewide, from Pittsburgh to Lancaster to Philadelphia.
And of course, we'll continue to bring you the most up-to-date news from the world of politics, sports, business and technology, medicine, and entertainment in the city of Pittsburgh and at the University of Pittsburgh.
The U.S. military this week enforced a blockade on the Strait of Hormuz after a 2-week compromise. This was after Trump's threat to strike Iran if Iran did not open the strait.
The Strait of Hormuz accounts for 20% of worldwide oil transportation, and the blockade has pushed oil prices to nearly $100 a barrel.
The blockade seems to be working against Iran. According to the U.S. Central Command, no ships have crossed in the first 48 hours the blockade was enforced. And several Iranian vessels that have left the Persian Gulf through the strait have either halted or changed their shipping course entirely.
Now, on the first day of the blockade, however, only 8 vessels transited the strait according to the shipping data.
Despite this, trade is still seen as incredibly risky on the strait.
A 10-day ceasefire has been announced last night by President Trump and has already been approved by Lebanon and Israel. The Israeli and the Lebanese government agreed to its conditions after more than a month of war between Israel and the Iran-backed Hezbollah.
At this point, nearly 2,200 people in Lebanon have been killed by Israeli strikes. Prime Minister Netanyahu stated that Israel will continue to occupy southern Lebanon during the ceasefire. Trump has also said he'll be inviting Netanyahu and Lebanese President Joseph Aoun to the White House, which is the first time direct talks will occur between those 3 countries in over 30 years.
Now, this is not to be confused with what is happening in Iran, although Pakistan has met with Iran officials to propose a separate ceasefire between Israel, the U.S., and Iran. Now, President Trump criticized Pope Leo XIV, the 14th, on Truth Social after he criticized Washington's role in the war in the Middle East. This was after an interview and an Easter Sunday sermon where the Pope condemned Trump's language towards Iran on Truth Social and requested a peaceful end to the war.
Once again, what I said in the Urbi et Orbi message on Sunday, asking all people of goodwill to search always for peace and not violence, to reject war, especially a war which many people have said is an unjust war, which is continuing to escalate and which is not resolving anything.
President Trump responded by posting an AI-generated image of his head edited with Jesus with no caption, which would later be deleted a day later. Pope Leo told reporters that he was not afraid of the Trump administration hours after Trump criticized him online.
After President Trump deleted the photo, he stated that he mistook himself as a doctor in the image that he posted.
Implicitly, the Pope stated during a speech in Cameroon that the world is being, and I quote, ravaged by a handful of tyrants amidst escalations between the White House and the Vatican.
He did not mention President Trump by name, but denounced world leaders in his speech who used religion to justify violence against other nations.
A sanctuary city is a city that limits cooperation with federal immigration authorities, prohibiting local police from inquiring about someone's immigration status or helping with detention. Philadelphia happens to be one of those cities.
To strengthen the city's policies against ICE agents, city officials have proposed a set number of laws called ICE Out to limit ICE activity.
These bills seek to protect immigrants living in Philadelphia from ICE exploiting access to their personal information, while also restricting what agents are allowed to do.
Now, if passed, the bills would stop ICE agents from hiding their identity through wearing masks or using unmarked cars. To prevent ICE from using public city property or parades like shelters and libraries, and ban city workers and police from helping ICE or sharing data.
Additionally, ICE is not allowed to cooperate with municipalities unless a proper warrant signed by a judge is present. Historic news in Hungary. Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, who led the Christian nationalist party Fidesz for 16 years, has accepted defeat in Hungary's 2026 parliamentary elections on Sunday to Péter Magyar, leader of the opposition TISA party.
Now, Orbán's regime was classified to be corrupt, with him being a thorn with the EU due to concerns regarding democratic backsliding and removing judicial independence.
Orbán's rule is defined as right-wing populism, where he emphasized Hungarian nationalism and anti-immigration rhetoric. He's a stark supporter of Russia's actions during the Russian-Ukrainian war and one of President Trump's closest European allies.
During celebrations after the elections were announced, Magyar reiterated to rebuild ties with the EU and with NATO. But now, let's take you all the way from Hungary to here on campus, where the news cycle never stops.
Like the buzz in Budapest, let's see what our fellow journalists at the Pitt News are buzzing about in their newsroom.
I'm Connor Hutchison. I'm the sports editor at the Pitt News, where I've been for 3 years. My most recent story was covering Pitt men's club basketball. They had their best season in over a decade, reached a high ranking of number 7 in the country. It used to be, a lot of clashing of egos, difficult to manage all the personalities. Not a lot of buy-in when it came to commitment to the team. And this year, maybe it helped that the team was really good, but the commitment from all the players on the team and the coach, one, it resulted in winning, but two, it built a real brotherhood is the word that kept coming up. And they also just got really talented players that were willing to play a role on the court. So, even guys who could be the best player on the team realized that they had a role on the team that they needed to fill in, and were more than willing to do that. And when you have talented guys that can, they could play above what their responsibility is, but realize how they have to fit into the whole system, it all just works. It all just works really well. I went into it thinking that this is a really good team, and I'm just going to write about some good basketball. And I came away from it realizing that it's much more than just basketball.
We've taken you around the world, from Beirut to Budapest to Pittsburgh, in less than 80 days. I almost feel bad for Jules Verne.
Tune into our next segment to see what concerns the city of Pittsburgh. But don't fret, it's mostly good news, and we will see you after the break.
so honored and humbled to officially welcome you to the University of Pittsburgh.
Never in our 238-year history has a Pitt education been so much in demand it's possible at Pitt is not just something we say when you walk in the door. Hail to each of you, hail to possible, and hail to Pitt.
This morning, you take your place in this honored tradition. You take your place in a time of great challenge and even greater opportunity.
Community comes at the cost of your comfort zone. You don't just stumble upon community in college, you create it. I hope that your journey outside of your comfort zone eventually leads you to a community that welcomes you exactly as you are. Class of 2029, whatever you're feeling right now, I hope that sometime soon you feel at home.
Thanks for tuning back in to Pitt to the Point. Happen to watch a story today that piques your curiosity? Want to find out more about what's going on in Pittsburgh? Visit our website.
No, that's right. If you want to find out more about the world of politics, medicine, business, technology, and more, log on to the Pitt to the Point website at pittothepoint.com.
Not only can you see clips from today's show, but you can also read about the topics that interest you and more. Check it out at pittothepoint.com.
Another win for local news, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette announced that it found a buyer to keep the newspaper afloat. The buyers are the owners of the Pulitzer Prize-winning digital Baltimore Banner.
The Post-Gazette's initial owners, Block Communications, stated that the nonprofit Venantulis Institute for Local Journalism had agreed to buy its assets. Before this announcement, the newspaper has been due to close on May 3rd, when the Gazette's owner, Block Communications, stated in January that it would shut down the newspaper. However, there's hope now with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Now, the Post-Gazette said that the new owners would continue to print the newspaper 2 days a week and would operate the website. Federal rollbacks of pollution rules during Trump's second administration has given Clairton's Coke plant temporary relief from stricter standards. The Coke plant is near Pittsburgh and is one of the largest Coke factories in the United States.
Clairton's Coke factory produces Coke, a carbon-rich fuel through heating coal at incredibly high temperatures, sparking concerns about the air pollution's effect on surrounding residents' health.
I'm Annie Flanagan. I'm a photographer, and I went to Clairton, Pennsylvania, where a U.S. steel plant emits the toxic chemical benzene. I just thought it was fog. And then when I was talking with the organizer, is actually inversion, which is when toxic air and pollution gets trapped. That phenomenon is actually toxic air.
Officials have argued that the rollback of environmental regulations has helped protect jobs and allow companies, including this Coke plant, more time to comply with new rules. Emissions have been linked to respiratory problems, considering that communities that live near the Clairton plant already experience higher rates of asthma and other health problems.
The NFL draft just keeps getting closer, and you can catch live coverage of the 2026 draft on April 23rd to 25th on the NFL Network, NFL Plus, ESPN, ESPN2, and ESPN Deportes. Tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, April 23rd to catch all of the day one live draft action.
Make sure to purchase a week's worth of snacks because there's more dates to keep in mind. Coverage of rounds 2 to 7 will be available on the same platforms. Round 2 to 3 will air on Friday, April 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And rounds 4 to 7 will air on Saturday, April 25th at noon Eastern Time. But how'd you like your coffee, Nick?
Simple. Lots of cream, lots of sugar.
Well, lucky for you, you can get your caffeine morning fix at an unexpected coffee and granola business partnership. For more, we perk up your morning with a story filed by our political reporter, Jay Davis.
My name is Christine Rocktis. I'm the owner of Ruckus Cafe. This is our second location in downtown Pittsburgh at 625 Liberty. Our original location is on Babcock Boulevard in Shaler. Beauty and the Beast was here. We did caramel, which was really good. So that was probably my favorite so far that we've done. It was a maple and caramel combination. But now we have 32 to try for the draft. So I think one of those might work out. The dark chocolate and honey is super good.
Penny Foligno from the Roaming Bean. It was a great honor to be chosen for the draft. And I do have to say the NFL source has really, really gone out of their way when they come into a city to really help these small business owners. And, the picking process was pretty amazing. When we applied over a year ago, we didn't think that we would be picked, but we were. And, it was a blessing that we were. We are servicing the crews down at Acrisure currently right now with one of the trucks. And we will have numerous trucks all around, parking areas where people are going to be parking, coming in, different areas in the city. And then, of course, the cafe will have extended hours too. And we are unveiling our protein coffee and our protein cold brew at the draft. So you will be able to see that there. It's pretty great product, actually. And we also have the 3 products. The one, we partnered with a nonprofit, Spectrum Fudge, and they deal with special needs adults. And those products, we definitely wanted to partner with them and give them a lot of the business. Honey butter latte, and we're using Spectrum Fudge's crazy.
So I've had a coffee shop for like 10 years. The first one's called Silver Horse. It's up by like Seven Springs in Ohio Pile. And I used to work on like offshore drilling rigs, and it was like my hobby. So I had a small business to kind of like dump my extra proceeds into. So I had a coffee shop. So Silver Horse has been open for like 10 years. And right before COVID, I worked for a company called Halliburton. Like Dick Cheney was my boss. And we all got laid off like right before COVID. So I worked for them for almost like 10 years. So I got like a big severance package. So I bought a coffee roaster instead. Basically, all the students are like almost done with school. So like Pitt's about to graduate. So all these people are coming in for like graduation at the same time.
So my name's Ryan. I'm a co-owner at Artist Cafe. We're based in Squirrel Hill. I'd say our unique points are that we're open pretty late for a coffee shop. We have breakfast sandwiches at 9 p.m. if you want to come and, all of our menu is available all day. So anyone can come in and feel welcome or feel like a space where they can get at least something out of it.
Nefera, I had a relatively bumpy ride getting here this morning.
Yeah, unfortunately, I sat in the back. Well, the city's Department of Mobility and Infrastructure will begin paving and milling projects to help strengthen the structure of our roads. For more, we have our City Beat reporter, Lucy Landy. Lucy?
As anticipation for the NFL draft grows, the City of Pittsburgh is going full force on their beautification projects. That means painting bridges, picking up trash, and weeding. But there's something a little more foundational to redding up the ideal city.
Potholes are really big here.
The City of Pittsburgh's 2026 paving and milling season has begun. Springtime weather means the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure will start street resurfacing across the neighborhoods of Pittsburgh. This year, the city plans to invest $16.3 million into repairing curb ramps, cracks, and potholes. Projects are largely grouped by council district, with the first rotation being District 8 from May 4th to May 15th. Schedules are posted weekly on the city's website, and signage should be posted 48 hours prior to work starting. As of now, the city is focused on downtown in preparation for the NFL draft next week.
So you're just looking for like cracks, looking for, any faulting between the, there's joints in concrete pavements as well. Potholes are really big here just because of like the freeze thaw conditions and just like a lot of like expansion within the moisture underneath the pavement because it's dictated by moisture.
To determine a project's priority, the city looks at the overall condition index, or the OCI, and the classification of a street, while considering how to equitably distribute work between neighborhoods. The OCI measures a road's level of damage, while the classification, as primary, secondary, or tertiary, denotes the size and use.
The serviceability of the road needs to be at a certain threshold for roads with more traffic on it. So that's definitely a factor, and it influences, even things like the type of rehabilitation you're going to do to that road.
Over the past 5 years, Pittsburgh has averaged 51 miles paved per year. For 2026, the city plans to pave 24 miles. Mayor Corey O'Connor's press secretary, Molly O'Neufer, told the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette this number does align with, quote, about the same amount of paving we do every year, end quote, as projects with utilities companies have yet to be identified and accounted for.
Roads are not updated as frequently as they should be and are not designed to the, an adequate design life, just because it's all like it's more like a political thing rather than like, a pavement thing. Like you can design a pavement for however many years, but typically it's only designed for 20, which means that you're going in and doing a lot of like repairs, overlays, you name it.
To submit a street for paving considerations, call 311 in the City of Pittsburgh. For Pitt to the Point, I'm City Beat reporter Lucy Landy. Farah, Nick?
Thanks, Lucy. Nick, personally, I consider myself a city girl, and I'm not talking about the girl hip-hop duo from Florida, but I've been meaning to try something new recently, like reconnecting with nature.
Well, Farah, I have always recommended that you go and touch some grass. If you're unsure where to start when it comes to the outdoors, I have quite the people for you. We're joined by the students Patrick Fertile and Gianna Ostrotsky at Lancaster Catholic High School.
Coming to you from the new broadcasting studio at Lancaster Catholic High School, I'm Gianna Ostrowski.
And I'm Patrick Fertile. There's nothing better than getting outside and enjoying what nature has to offer.
Let's go to our outdoor expert, Cassius, to tell us a little bit more about camping.
Camping isn't about escaping. It's more like stepping out of the constant noise for a bit. No alarms, no notifications, just actual quiet and whatever sounds happen to be around you.
Oh, so hot. Oh my god.
Get the sock.
Putting together a tent or cooking over a fire isn't complicated, but it feels different when you're the one doing it.
Well, I grew up in an outdoorsy family. Most of my dad's side of the family went hunting a lot. And at first when I would go with them, I would get really bored easily and antsy. But over the years, I grew appreciation, just the silence and the animals around and God's creation. And it's like a safe place for me. I can really think straight when I'm in the woods and everything like that. So that's why I love the outdoors.
At night, people talk more. Maybe it's the lack of distractions. Maybe it's just the setting. But conversations stick a little longer. The outdoors is a great place to make new friends and create new memories. For the Lancaster Catholic Morning Show, I'm Cassius Everett.
Wow, Cassius really knows his stuff.
Yeah, he also runs a YouTube account called Sus Boys. Go subscribe to them to see more about camping and nature.
And back to you, Farah and Nick.
Thank you, Patrick and Gianna, for joining us all the way from Lancaster.
We've got a lot more show for you left, so make sure you stick around to catch some more exciting stories, from sports to award shows.
Well, our own designated award show here at the University of Pittsburgh, so you better not miss this one and more when we return back to Pitt to the Point.
Can you hear me? This is interesting. Is this on? Can y'all see me?
Do I just talk?
Pitt basketball beating WVU in the backyard brawl.
Favorite Pitt memories running out during the backyard brawl.
Pitt's a beautiful place. I'm graduating in a couple of weeks. I'm really sad about it. I really am so grateful for the time I've had here.
My favorite Pitt memory was defending my thesis this year.
And ever since the first day of classes, we've been friends because we're directionally challenged.
My favorite memory was all the times I spent with my friends.
I should do it. Working on a movie with one of my good friends.
My favorite Pitt memory was winning backyard brawl at like the last second because I was going to leave.
Going to the Pitt volleyball games and seeing them beat Penn State and Louisville and all the people.
My favorite memory is the photo shoot we just had for the ballet club at Pitt.
My favorite Pitt memory this year was winning the backyard brawl. H2P, baby.
And I just finished my last German class and I started tearing up because after 5 years we finally did it. So yeah, that's probably one of my favorites. It's like nice out, it's beautiful, and I'm like so happy. Bye!
You're why we believe it's possible at Pitt.
We each became a part of something larger than ourselves.
Paige Allen.
Thank you.
On Monday, the Panther Choice Awards were held at the Peterson Event Center, highlighting some of the amazing athletes at Pitt.
Our school once again rolled out the blue carpet in honor of the hard work and dedication of our student athletes.
Several different awards are given out for several categories, but most coveted is the Panther and Blue Gold Award. Recipients get their names engraved on Pitt's Varsity Walk.
Now, the Varsity Walk has been a tradition since the year 1950. Making it a coveted spot for athletes.
Other awards given out at the event include Top Overall Academic Team, Bridge Builder, Heart of a Panther, Newcomer, and the Male and Female Athlete of the Year.
Now, there are winners in several different sports, but this has been an extraordinary year for the Pitt volleyball team, which won several awards in different categories at this event. Now, it is fun to watch a baseball game, but the average viewer just never really gets the full perspective as to what happens on the field.
You'll have the pleasure of getting the perspective of a former Pirates player as we go to City Sports reporter Colin Ferguson. Colin?
Sport culture in the city of Pittsburgh is one of the largest in the nation. And this month, all three major sports leagues are combining their pre, regular, and postseason action to create one of the best atmospheres we may have seen ever. I'm joined today with someone who has been right up front and center of it all, with former Pirates catcher and current Pirates color analyst, Michael McKenry. Morning, Michael.
Hey, good morning, Colin. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to chatting some ball with you.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. First off, as a former catcher is a position that makes you a leader on the baseball diamonds. The defense is relying on you. The pitcher is relying on you. What is something about managing a game from behind the dish that fans may not entirely understand, but completely has changed the way you see the sport?
Well, the first thing, you have to be selfless. And I always say you have to look at the personality first before you look at the philosophy. How are you going to deal with this person that's on the mound? And if you do that, I think you're always in that area where you're serving first. And if you're serving, you're not focused on all the other things that could necessarily go bad, because this is a game of failure. You're always in a jam or a pickle that you got to get out of it, no pun intended. But it's a position where you have to have a lot of humility. You can't have any ego. And you have to figure out, hey, how am I going to win today for this guy on the mound and my teammates? And then you start to think about yourself. I think that's one thing fans sometimes forget, that the catching position in general is one of the hardest things to do on the planet. And you get beat up, you take foul balls, concussions, all these things. And then you got to go hit something that is maybe it is the hardest thing to do in all sports in my mind. So I think it's more or less, it takes a lot of time, a lot of understanding of the person before you even get to the philosophy. And if you go on any stat or look at any analytics, it's very advanced now. So you have all that on the, tail end of it all.
And now that you have, retired from the sport and returned into the booth, you have spent obviously a lot of time with the Pirates. Start of this season, we have seen a lot to get Bucco fans, to give them hope, to get them excited. Namely right now, first, what appears to be an all-star beginning for O'Neal Cruz and potentially his breakout. Also the number one prospect in baseball, and Connor Griffin has been up for a couple of weeks at this point. What do you think are reasonable expectations for the rest of the season now that we've gotten this small sample size? And is this finally the breakout that we've been waiting for O'Neal Cruz?
The expectation first is playoffs or bust. I don't think there's any other talk inside that clubhouse. I think when you go back to the home opener, Bob Nutting said it's World Series. That's the goal. So if he's setting that standard, I think the city should absolutely think that's where we're going. That's what should happen. So whatever that takes, they obviously went out and made a lot of moves this offseason. they went after the best available free agent over and over again. That's what they usually do in the draft, but they were literally in on everybody. Schwarber, I mean, throwing out dollars that they've never even talked about. So it's exciting for the city. It's exciting for me. This is my 9th year between the pre and post and the booth. And this is the first time it feels real. And that's because they've taken on the culture of this city, which is the coolest thing ever. Donnie Kelly, the manager there, spoke at spring training, and he described what Pittsburgh is, what a Yinzer is. And it just gives you chills when you hear it. They played on the scoreboard with NF in the back, awesome graphics and awesome video, things to get the city just behind it all. And I feel like it does feel like it's one heartbeat from the city to the clubhouse to the field. And I do think it's different. And then with O'Neal Cruz, yeah, I think this is his year. I got to say that the staff that they hired is really a big part of that, because O'Neal Cruz just needs to be left alone. When you have a guy that's like an avatar, he's 6'7", he does things that are unorthodox. He's going to frustrate you at times because, honestly, who can say, hey, man, don't do it like that? Unless you're Kevin Durant, I don't think you can say anything to him because he's just not normal.
Yeah, that is a Herculean man out there indeed.
Right? It's huge.
It's a large individual, yeah. I mean, Yankee fan, grew up watching Aaron Judge, so I
yeah,
know
great
what it's
example,
like.
right? Like, what are they going to say to him? But if you think about him, it took him a minute, right? So O'Neal Cruz got here. He's playing a premium position. Aaron Judge did not, but Aaron Judge didn't hit until about 28. So if we kind of put it in perspective, I believe O'Neal Cruz is 27. So if he takes off this year, he's running into his prime, because most people don't realize the prime is 28 to 32, 33. That's when your best years come, because you have the mixture of still having your youth, but you also have that knowledge.
And then in terms of Griffin as well, again, #1 prospect in baseball, he has been up. It was fireworks for his debut. I mean, first at bat was an RBI double, and I've seen this city rally around him like nothing else. How do you think we've seen him play so far this year, and what are the expectations for him as well through his rookie year?
I think the expectations are extremely high, and I think he feels that. I can't imagine being him. I've known him since he was 16 years old. I coached him with USA Baseball, and this kid's been different ever since then, not just with his talent, but with his makeup and character. But I think his overall expectations are Kutch. I mean, I think he's the new face. I think he's the guy that we're hoping that, can he have a Hall of Fame type career? So in Cooperstown, that hat goes in as a Pirate, because Kutch is the next guy that even has that possibility, and he's on the fringe. So I think that's one overall. I think that's also his expectations. But when it comes to what do people expect, I think people want him to win the Rookie of the Year. I think the team wants him. I think that's what he wants. And I think he will get going. I just can't imagine. You think about this. I'm not sure how old you are, but he's 19, right? So he would be a freshman in college right now usually, and try to go to class. Mom's doing laundry still, but this kid's married. He's got multi-million dollars. He's in the news every day, good, bad, or ugly. Our fans can be tough at times, especially on social media, and he's trying to understand it all and slow it down. But I mean, debut, crazy day, family, father's trip, $140 million contract, all in 5 days. And then, hey, bud, go play. Man, I can't imagine.
It's not a bad 5 days at all.
Not a bad 5 days, but it's an overwhelming 5 days.
It is indeed. I want to flip it now to a different sport. Obviously, it's been a solid season for the Pirates to get started. It was a really unexpected season for the Penguins this year, as they have, in fact, flipped the script. They'll be hosting the first 2 playoff games of the postseason. What does it mean for this city to see a resurgence of really all of their teams and seeing the black and gold really start to be respected again?
I think it's incredible. I mean, we're the City of Champions. I don't think that's said enough. Like, that's what we're known as. We are family, City of Champions. And this hockey team is special. I don't know if we'll ever see 3 players play together for 20 years and be 3 of the top players in all of hockey for, a decade plus? I mean, it's just really special. I think it shows that identity and culture really do matter. And if you put the right pieces together, it can really work. And they believed in themselves, and they're where they are because of that. And you have a bunch of guys that really love this city. They love their teammates, and they want to win. And, man, the power of that is special.
Yeah, absolutely. And potentially, the last run for the big 3, like you mentioned. I mean, do you think this is it?
I don't know. I mean, how can you put limits on dudes that have played anything for 20 years? You know, I played professionally for 12, and I was like, whoa, that was a lot. Like these guys are in almost 8, 9, 10 more years. It's crazy. And dude, they lose their teeth and stuff. I mean, it's just a different animal.
It is. Well, thank you, Michael, so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anytime you need me, I'm happy to come on, and good luck and God bless.
All right. Yes, sir. Thank you. Now, speaking of the Penguins, we've said it before, we'll say it again. It is NHL season here in the Steel City postseason, even with the Penguins gearing up to take on the Philadelphia Flyers for the first playoff battle of the Commonwealth since 2018. Now, the Pens, after finishing second place in the Metropolitan, will be hosting games 1 and 2 of their opening series, meaning there will be no playoff hockey in Pittsburgh during the NFL draft next weekend. The Pens will officially start their first playoff run in the last 4 years at 8 o'clock on Saturday night at PPG Paints. From Pitt to the Point, I'm City Sports reporter Colin Ferguson. And now for more sports, we'll send it to our Pitt Sports reporter, David Cook. David?
Despite the lack of fans at the annual spring game due to preparations for the upcoming NFL draft, Panther fans have every reason to be excited. Expectations are high for quarterback Mason Heinschel, who, after early enrolling last spring, was inserted into the starting lineup mid-season. Now that he's got a second spring under his belt, he's really starting to hit his groove.
I think we had a really great spring. Really took some really great strides, just as a unit, offensively and defensively. Obviously there's a lot to work on, a lot to get better with. But I think comparatively speaking to the first day of spring ball to now, I think is just we've taken really great strides. I'm excited for what this group can do. I think we got something really special here for sure. I would say, just trying to, just trust in the pocket and standing in there and delivering a ball. There were times last year where, I got a little happy feet and tried to escape and make a play and say, kind of just trusting it and, standing in there and delivering a throw. I think that's something that I've really tried hard to work on. And obviously just footwork as well in general. I think that's such a vital piece to being, to taking that next step as a quarterback. And so I think that's just something that I've really tried to work on and, I'm going to continue to work on because, I can always improve, can always get better. And, we're just excited for that for sure.
I feel like Mason got a lot better since we first got here. I feel like he's going to be a great player this year, like even better than he was last year. Like I say, the one big thing about him is his arm power. Like your eyes in the wrong spot for 1 second, he's going to sling that in there. So
there was growth at every position. I'm happy with the O-line. How many sacks did you see today? I think Zollers had one near the end, but I think the offensive line protected the quarterback. I think that steady improvement out of everybody. He's played some tackle, he's played guard, he's athletic, he's put on 15 pounds. He was playing light last year, at left tackle and guard. But it's another year in the program, his second spring. It's called development. It's what we do. And I just think, just another year of the terminology and knowing where to go and be able to play fast.
He's done a great job. There were some things, everybody we wanted to go into the offseason working on. And, I think he really attacked that at a really high level. And, he kind of took initiative to, better himself. And I think that just made the offensive line as a whole unit even better, too. And, he's really held it down at left guard. And we're excited to see what he can do during the season for sure.
Davin's worked his tail off. I think the first thing is he's in early. He's studying the game. I think Coach Bowen has done a great job with him, developing him. But it's really fundamentals in him just, becoming a better finisher. Again, it's that knowledge part of it. He's gotten a lot more reps lately as well. But, just what he did on the field, clearly, he was really clearly that linebacker that made, a lot of strides to be that Ed Conway Award winner.
There's a lot of optimism around this football team, and I don't know about you, but I'm incredibly excited for football season. For Pitt to the Point, I'm your Pitt sports reporter, David Cook. For Nick.
So, David, what area does Pitt football need to improve on to take the next step?
I think it's all going to start up front. The offensive line gave up 44 sacks last season in 13 games, and with a quarterback like Mason Heinschel, they need to give him more protection than that. And I think that they're going to do it. They've talked a lot about it in the spring game, only giving up 1 sack. Clearly, that has been a big point of emphasis. For Nick.
Thanks, David.
Now, we have a lot more to cover on Pitt to the Point. But when we return, we talk about our weekly alumni spotlight, about a former Pitt student that is CEO and president of a business.
We also have lots in the way of concerts, so you'll definitely want to stick around for that and more when we return to Pitt to the Point.
This morning, you take your place in this honored tradition. You take your place in a time of great challenge and even greater opportunity.
Community comes at the cost of your comfort zone. You don't just stumble upon community in college, you create it. I hope that your journey outside of your comfort zone eventually leads you to a community that welcomes you exactly as you are. Class of 2029, whatever you're feeling right now, I hope that sometime soon you feel at home.
Congratulations.
Now, it's that time of year again. Coachella has completed its first weekend and is going into this one with some incredible artists.
Coachella has been an institution since 1999, and it continues to bring about unique performances. Headliners for the show include talents such as Sabrina Carpenter, Justin Bieber, and Karol G.
Each set tried to set itself apart from the last. For example, Sabrina Carpenter's event included water guns in order to spice up the performance. Now, if you're looking to attend Coachella, I do hope you have an extra kidney you don't mind parting with. Prices range from $780 to $1,200.
That's right. Coachella prices reached a record high this year, and that's not including the high prices on food.
One fan claimed that they spent $17 on a hot dog, making a trip to the concert a hefty investment.
Nick, are you ready for the big birthday coming up?
Oh my, I'm so glad you remembered my birthday.
No, not yours. America is turning 250 this year, and Pittsburgh is celebrating. For more, we go to entertainment reporter Michaela Albers. Michaela?
In honor of America's 250th birthday celebration right here in Pennsylvania, Governor Josh Shapiro has announced a free concert series with performances across the state. This event is just one of many happening in Pennsylvania this year in hopes of boosting local tourism. In honor of the America 250th Pennsylvania celebration, Governor Shapiro released a free concert series with 5 separate performances across the state, including one at Point State Park, right here in Pittsburgh. The performances will take place from the end of May to the end of June.
When I found out about this concert series, I was so excited because I saw Third Eye Blind and Nelly, and I'm just excited that they're playing in Pittsburgh and not anywhere else because I think it's going to be a good turnout.
Pennsylvania has become a host for major events this year, including the NFL Draft, and many residents are excited at the opportunities that they bring.
I'm called an NFL teammate, so I'll be running these stands for the kids to play games at. They have like a running one where you can throw football. I'm really excited, and it's just nice because it's a paid experience, and I get to learn a lot about the NFL. I feel like I will be learning a lot more with the draft. I'm just really excited, but I think it's just going to be hard getting down there, especially, but I think it'll just be a good lifetime experience.
However, there are some concerns on whether the City of Pittsburgh will be able to handle the influx of tourism.
I feel like it's going to bring on a lot of people, especially to the draft. There's over 700,000 people coming to the city. I feel like having more tourism in Pennsylvania, there's so many things to do in PA especially. And to be honest, I think for this free concert series, it will draw a lot of people from out of state, especially if they live close to the areas. Like Pittsburgh's right near Ohio, and it's right near, parts of West Virginia as well. But I feel like it'll bring a lot of money into the cities as well. But I feel like some of the cities might not be prepared enough. A lot of people are a little bit worried about the draft and seeing if Pittsburgh is prepared enough. It's in 1 week, and there's still tons of construction going on. They're saying you can use public transportation, but they're changing all of the routes. So we'll see in 7 days if it's going to be well set up. But either way, I think it's going to be very exciting for tourists as well as locals to the Pittsburgh area.
The free concert series isn't the only place for performances this year. The Pittsburgh Cultural Trust has just announced its 2026-2027 performance season at the Benedum Center. Performances will take place from September to May of next year. Expect fan favorites like The Lion King, Hadestown, Beetlejuice, and The Who's Tommy. For the full calendar and more ticketing information, visit the Cultural Trust's website. There are many events happening in Pennsylvania and also Pittsburgh this year. You definitely don't want to miss out. For Pitt to the Point, I'm entertainment reporter Michaela Albers. Farah, Nick?
Thanks, Michaela. Many Pitt alum have gone off to do incredible work. It's really special when one becomes CEO of a company.
Let's take a look now at our Alumni Spotlight segment to learn more about After School Buddy.
I was at Pitt from the fall of 1976 to the spring of 1980, which, as you know, is a great football championship time, and it was a great time of exploration, and it was a really interesting time in the country. I thought it was a fantastic time to grow up, and I loved every minute at Pitt, from the time we had freshman orientation in the summer until I graduated. In fact, I'm still in touch with, I can't even tell you how many people from not only my class, but a lot of the other classes. And in fact, I still have samples of things that I wrote back in the 70s and, right into 1980. And even some of the references that I was given were instrumental in me getting into what I ended up doing, which was reporting and producing for most of my career. One of the things I wanted to do was work more with children. And I just felt that if I brought a lot of different children together, children from many different backgrounds, many different skills, and we could use those children to then teach other children a lot of skills that they could use in their everyday life, and also get them on the right track early. All of those things were really important. So I thought, all right, let's try this. And we did. We launched in 2009, and it took off. We had, at one point, 25 kids in the program, and we not only recorded, we came up with original music. We would do, we ended up doing everything: school assemblies, performances at PNC Park. We had After School Buddy Day in the City of Pittsburgh. We did mascot skates. We did parades. I turned my dog and cat into costume characters because they were so hilarious at home. I thought, well, let's just make them costume characters and we'll take them on the road. There's so many goals. And I think by working with a lot of different people in a lot of different specialties and a lot of different communities, that these things can be done. And again, to benefit a larger audience, much, much larger than just one company.
Now, if I did have a watch on, it'd probably tell me that our show is almost over.
But wait, there's still some great stories left to cover. We still have our Clubbing at Pitt segment, and we'll also learn some sweet new dance moves.
So stick around if you're looking for a little bit more mojo on Pitt to the Point.
What if you had over 30,000 big thinkers and believers behind you? In a city connected to everything? Well, you'd probably find yourself doing something truly incredible.
Can you hear me? This is interesting. Is this on? Can y'all see me? Do I just talk?
Pitt basketball beating WVU in the backyard brawl.
Favorite Pitt memories running out during the backyard brawl.
Pitt's a beautiful place. I'm graduating in a couple weeks. I'm really sad about it. I really am so grateful for the time I've had here.
My favorite Pitt memory was defending my thesis this year.
And ever since the first day of classes, we've been friends because we're directionally challenged. My favorite memory was all the times I spent with my friends.
I should do it. Working on a movie with one of my good friends.
My favorite Pitt memory was winning backyard brawl at like the last second because I was going to leave.
Going to the Pitt volleyball games and seeing them beat Penn State and Louisville and all the people.
My favorite memory is the photo shoot we just had for the ballet club at Pitt.
My favorite Pitt memory this year was winning the backyard brawl. H2P, baby.
And I just finished my last German class and I started tearing up because after 5 years we finally did it. So yeah, that's probably one of my favorites. It's like nice out, it's beautiful, and I'm like so happy. Bye!
Back in the days of cable, my sister and I would lay belly down in front of our living room TV for hours to catch an episode of Dancing with the Stars. Earlier this week, Pitt brought this excitement from television over here at the Student Union. For more, let's go to our Pitt beat reporter, Morgan Arlia. Morgan?
This Tuesday, Pitt Programs Council held another sold-out event. Dancing with the Stars professional Riley Arnold held an exclusive dance lesson at the William Pitt Union for Pitt students to see if they have what it takes to be on Dancing with the Stars.
Pitt Programs Council holds many events around Pitt's campus, such as Bigelow Bash, drag shows, study events, trips to Pittsburgh sports games, and more. For students who are a Dancing with the Stars fan, their most recent event was something that they wanted to attend. Dancing with the Stars professional Riley Arnold held a dance lesson at the William Pitt Union Assembly Room on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Tickets were $5 and tickets sold out fast. We talked to some students about how their time was at this event.
I went to a dance workshop taught by Riley Arnold. Yes, I was a dancer my whole life. I was very ballet focused for about 12 years, maybe longer. And then I did very casual dance until I was a senior in high school.
I danced until middle school, and then I do Zumba here and there.
So Riley taught us a quick warm-up, and then we did a couple other stretches, and then she taught us some basic ballroom skills, and then we learned a combo, and then we went in groups and did each combo.
We learned some ballroom techniques, and then we put it all together in a quick dance, and then she showed us some of her skills.
You definitely needed a little bit of dance experience going into it. The combo was kind of fast, but there were a lot of girls who have no previous dance experience. I'm a very big Dancing with the Stars fan. I always watch it with my friends whenever it's on TV, and I was rooting for Robert Irwin this year. I would definitely recommend this event to people. It was very fun, a very good experience to move your body and meet Riley Arnold.
I definitely would. It was a good way to get some exercise in and then be taught by a professional.
Stay tuned for more events that the Pitt Programs Council has planned for the end of the semester and for the following school year.
For more information about events that Pitt Programs Council is holding, you can visit their Instagram or Facebook at We Do Events at Pitt. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt Beat reporter Morgan Arlia. For Nick.
Morgan, I just have a quick question for you. Are you good at dancing?
I am a terrible dancer, so I did not attend this event, but if I could dance, I know I would have loved to be here. Farah, Nick?
Thanks, Morgan. That sweet nostalgia is hitting me like a truck right now.
Well, I've finally taken your fashion advice that was unasked for. I fixed the hair and I got a new suit. So, you happy now?
Well, the tie is definitely a choice. But don't fear, divas. Segment producer James Carter is giving you the scoop on Pitt's Fashion Business Association and their annual fashion show.
The organization of Pitt's business school, but plenty of our members don't have business degrees. I'm not a business major myself. We do a lot of fashion industry professional development, and we also do a lot of the more creative side of the fashion industry. And we do things like thrift swaps and what I'm here to talk about today, which is the show that we're having this weekend, our spring fashion. So our fashion show this year is in Chancia. It's kind of medieval and fairy tale inspired. And it is an FBA tradition that we do every spring. The club puts it on. We've been a club since 2008 here at Pitt. And it's a mixture of secondhand outfits put together by members of our club, and then also outfits designed by members of our club and made from scratch. And it's a way for everyone to be able to participate in a fashion show. And so you'll be able to see people modeling the looks, and it's hosted right here in this ballroom. It's all Pitt students, and it's not just members of the club. We do open it up to the whole school, so we have a lot of models who aren't necessarily in the club or attending the meetings every week, but they join in the spring and they end up modeling for us. And as president, we usually have a fashion show coordinator. That year, that was me. So I'm pretty much the main proprietor of who put this on, with help from the rest of the e-board, of course. And we open it up to teams. Usually people can help with the event planning, they can help with hair and makeup, they can help with anything that they would like. It's very collaborative. I've actually been a part of FBA since my freshman year when I just joined, and I had no idea what it was, and I was pretty scared. And now I'm a junior and I'm the president. Last year I was part of the graphics and social media team, and I love it. I've made a lot of friends through it, and especially this year being president, I've really learned a lot about leadership and working with people and just event organization with the show. And I think it's made me a lot more confident and taught me a lot of things. And of course, I really like the creative community. We are the only fashion organization on campus at the moment. And so we were able to partner with a lot of different creative clubs on Pitt's campus and do a lot of fun things and meet a lot of cool people. I'd like to say to anyone who might be watching this video, thinking about joining FBA or wondering about the show that we have this weekend, whether you're joining Pitt or you're already a student here, I want it to be known that it's a very collaborative effort, and we kind of take ideas from everybody, and everyone is welcome. Like I said, we're a business organization, but we do a lot more stuff on the creative side, and we're always taking ideas from anybody, and our e-board is always suggesting ideas, and people in the club are always suggesting ideas for meetings and activities that we end up doing. And I'd like to think that everybody's ideas are heard, and it's a very open and creative club.
My gosh, look at the time already. I think we covered enough ground here today, Nick.
100%. We left you off with everything in and around the city and University of Pittsburgh, as well as everything in the world of sports, politics, entertainment, and business and tech. Please be sure to join us again next Friday for new stories. And as always, I'm Nick Bennick.
And I'm Farah Hindawi. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week on Pitt to the Point.